Hi, I'm Bryan with HVAC School, HVACrschool.com, and the HVAC School podcast. Making this quick video in conjunction with TruTechTools.com, showing you how to use the 770-3 or really any digital multimeter to measure capacitance while a system is actually functioning. So you don't have to shut it down, you don't have to pull the wires off. Now, as always, if you're going to take panels on and off, you want to shut the disconnect off. In this case, I already have the panels removed and the disconnect in, so we're ready to go ahead and do some testing and see what this capacitor is reading. Now, before I do anything else and actually take my measurement, I want to look at the capacitor and see the rating. So right here, I'm going to read the compressor capacitance, and this is a 70 microfarad capacitor at plus or minus 6%. So that means that we have to be within 6% of 70 microfarads for this capacitor to be considered functional. Now, in some cases, because of the uncertainty in the measurement of the meter itself, I'll often actually give a little bit more range. So in general, I'll say plus or minus 10% if it's 6, just to take into account that every meter, every device has some uncertainty in the measurement and the device itself. And we're actually going to be taking 2 measurements in order to get our capacitance on this capacitor. We're going to be taking both voltage and amperage, but we're going to take them in a place that you're not used to taking them, so you're going to want to pay close attention here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the amperage, and so I'm measuring for the compressor. One thing you'll notice on this particular unit is we do have a hard start kit in place, but this hard start kit is taken out in the first couple milliseconds of operation. So I want to read the wire going to the compressor start terminal, so to the actual start winding on the compressor, and that's this wire right here. So it goes to the HERM terminal on the capacitor. So this is our HERM terminal. I'm not getting too close to it here. This is our HERM terminal coming off our run capacitor that feeds our start terminal onto our compressor. So we're going to read that. We're going to read the amperage here on this wire. And when you read it, you want to, as much as possible, isolate the wire so that the clamp is just on that wire. So one thing that I have noticed with the 770-3 is it tends to read high unless you get the wire nice and isolated. So that's something to consider. If you get a high reading on your amperage, so we're going to say 8.3. So we're going to multiply 8.3 times our constant, which is 2652. 8.3 times 2652 equals that, and then we're going to divide that by our applied voltage. So we're going to go here, and this is our voltage across our capacitor. So between C and HERM, when we're reading when we're doing our compressor capacitor. So let's see what we got here. 295.4, we'll say. So we're going to go divided by 295.4 equals 74.5, in that range. So we're actually reading a little bit high on this capacitor. Again, every meter is going to be a little bit different. So you're going to have this meter that I have here, the 770-3. I've noticed that it tends to read just slightly on the high side, but it's definitely within range, definitely within the uncertainty of the measurement. So we know that we have a capacitor that's actually functioning properly. So in this particular case, what you will often find when you test a capacitor under load is that the capacitor is functioning within range. But if you were to find a capacitor that's running outside of 10%, and again, I'm taking into account what it says plus and minus on the capacitor, plus giving some uncertainty of measurement for the meter. That's why I say if it says plus or minus 6, I'm generally going to say plus or minus 10. If I'm outside of 10%, then I'm going to go to the customer and suggest to them that they replace their run capacitor. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of technicians believe and will say that a run capacitor is either good or bad, and that just isn't true. You'll have many run capacitors that are running weak, and when you have a run capacitor that's running weak, your compressor is not going to run the way that it should run. I'm Bryan with HVAC School, the HVAC School podcast. You can find these Testo tools like the Testo 770-3 at TruTechTools.com. Use the offer code GETSCHOOLED to get a great discount at checkout. Thanks for watching.